I'll talk a little bit about the regal tang or hippo tang. I have in this tank 5 of them. They are fantastic fish. They're very hardy. You just need to keep your water parameters stable. If you keep the water parameters stable, temperatures, salinity, all that kind of stuff stable, then you should be able to keep these fish quite easily. I've been keeping these since the 80s, regal tangs, and I don't really have any issues with them. Odd times they've had white spot, but you know, it's quite straightforward to cure the white spot. I have UVs running on the tanks. UVs don't eradicate white spot. I mean, they do damage its DNA if they pass through the UV unit, but that's not something that happens often. So the easiest thing to do is, if you did get a white spot outbreak, is to put all the fish in one tank, treat with something like copper, cupramine, that's what I use, and then once they've treated, leave the tank empty for your 90 days, then put your fish back in. I mean, it's a lot of hard work to do it, but you know, it's something that can be done. But like I say, if you can keep the parameters of the tank absolutely spot on, then you shouldn't really get an outbreak of ick. It's only really adding new fish that can create the ick. If the temperatures and the salinity remain the same at all times, then your regal tank should be absolutely perfect and very happy. As you can see, mine are absolutely fantastic. They've grown a hell of a lot. They were very small when I first got them. In fact, they were classed as a TMC tinies, so they were really small. And now, as you can see, they're quite big fish. The thing is, they're darting around so quickly, I can't even... that one's a yellow belly one. There's 3 normal, 2 yellow belly. And there's a yellow belly one. As you can see, he's quite big. Emperor Angel is on his change. Right, there's one of the bigger ones. They are all different sizes. All 5 of them are slightly different in size. They're not all exactly the same. Thing is that they are quite greedy fish. They eat a lot, and they do grow pretty quick. Like I say, they're all tiniest to begin with. They're probably about a year old, that's all. Give or take a few months. Can't actually remember when I purchased them. But I bought them as 2 lots. I bought 1 lot and then left it for about a week, and then bought, I think I bought 3 first and then 2 the second time. There's the regal there. This is what they do all the time. They lay underneath the rocks. They can lay completely flat and completely still. At night time, they just bury themselves underneath the rocks. In fact, I don't even see them. Even in the moonlight, they just disappear under the rocks, and you don't see them until morning. They're very good at playing dead, regal tangs. So they can just lay it on the bottom, completely flat, really still. As you can see, they're in perfect condition. They are absolutely amazing looking fish. They've always been one of my favourite fish, regal tangs. When I very first started keeping marine fish in the 80s, it was because of the regal tang I actually got into the hobby. So I'd say they've always been my favourite fish. In this tank, there's quite a high flow, because tangs in general do like a high flow. The tank's quite large. It's 8 feet in length, 4 feet wide, and the amount of water I've got flowing through there is 50,000 gallons an hour. The pumps are. Then you've got the return pump on top of that, so there is a lot of flow running through there. It keeps the bottom very, very clear. As you can see, it's glass bottom, no sand, but I've got algae growing on the bottom, which is also good because tangs love to graze. They as you can see there, the yellow tangs graze on the bottom. This is what they do all day. They just graze on the algae. This is a fish only fowler tank. There is a couple of sea urchins in there and 3 large starfish, but it is just fish only. I have my reef tank as well, and the fish only tank. The good thing about fish only is, like I say, if I do have any issues with things like ick, I mean I don't, but if I do, I could treat the whole tank. I've treated with croupamin before with this rock work, this eco rock that's all in here. So obviously I could do that again if I wanted to, but like I say, it's all down to keeping your water your water conditions really stable, and then your fish stay healthy. They grow quick. They're just nice and calm, disease free. You can see the algae growing right away from front to back across the tank. But like I say, this is something that I'm quite pleased about, because the tangs like to graze on it. But it's not just the tangs, angelfish also like to graze on algae. So having algae starting to grow all over the whole base of the tank is definitely something that's good. I mean, they get fed nori every single day, along with lots of different foods. I try to feed them as many different foods as I possibly can. So I think good feeding keeps fish healthy. They can fight off most things if they're healthy and happy. So I think good feeding is definitely part of having success with all fish. You know, whether it's angelfish, tangs, or any other kind of fish. I think if all the fish that you keep are well fed, keep them in reasonable flowing waters, especially the ones that come from like reef edges and stuff, I think the more current you have, the better it is, the healthier the fish are, because they sort of swim against the currents. It keeps them active. This is my opinion anyway. Like I say, I've been keeping them for a long time, so I sort of do have an idea how to keep regal tangs healthy. I see a lot of things on forums where the tangs are not very healthy and they're all covered in ick and stuff, and people are unsure what to do. A lot of the time it's literally the water is not kept perfect. Because if you keep the water perfect, there's no reason for them to get ick. Or people add another fish, a new fish, the fish has already got ick, and then that's it. Or they contaminate their own water with water from their LFS or wherever they've got the fish from that's got ick, and then that's it, you have an outbreak of ick. And ick definitely don't do any fish any good. Well, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos. What I'm going to start doing is a video on each individual fish that I've got. And I do have a lot of individual species of fish, mainly angelfish and tangs, because they're my favourite fish, angelfish and tangs. But I do have some other things. I've got some clownfish in there and triggerfish somewhere, I'm not sure where he is, but there's a triggerfish in there. Scopus tang at the back there. As you can see, he's grazing on the algae. Triggerfish is along here. There he is, blue throat triggerfish. See, there's quite a good range of fish in this tank. Okay, well, if you like the video, please subscribe and give it a thumbs up. I'll catch you on the next one.